break a bone as soon as you walk into the Indiana Fever facility because things have been crazy over there. Let's get into Rob Dozer. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. As always, we have good news for the Indiana Fever as they bring in a new player development coach to work alongside player and development coach Keith Porter, who the players seem to have a great rapport with. So let's take a look. The Indiana Fever posted, we have added Rob Dozer to our staff.
Okay, so the Indiana Fever just laid it out there, right? They're tired of how things are, and they unilaterally decided Caitlin Clark's game needs a total reset. They didn't even ask her what she thought. Nope, they're bringing in an NBA-level player development coach, specifically to fix her. What's crazy is this isn't a team effort at all. It's a direct order. The message is super clear. Your game isn't good enough right now, and we're getting outside help to change it. Your feelings, your usual training, doesn't matter. Now the superstar is under this brand new vision, and honestly, the implications for her future are just massive.
So the Indiana Fever have just hired a brand new coach, a brand new player development coach. They kind of had to. It says here he'll work alongside fellow player development coach Keith Porter. If you guys don't know, Keith Porter is out injured for a while. Like you will not see Keith Porter realistically doing any work with any player this offseason. As far as I'm aware, he snapped his Achilles, and it is not easy to come back from that. Like that's the type of injury where I'm not joking. It is the
So this move totally came out of nowhere. The Fever brought in Rob Dozer, a player development coach with tons of NBA and G League experience. And look, that hire immediately got people talking all over the league. Officially, they're saying it's a great addition, but behind closed doors, the timing and the specific reasons for him being there just scream a bigger, more urgent issue. Management thinks only something drastic can fix it. The message is pretty clear. Her individual game, even with all her talent, has either stopped improving or isn't going fast enough for the front office. This isn't just about a new coach. It's a whole new approach being forced on their biggest star. And yeah, that's creating some major tension right away.
Coach Keith Porter, who the players seem to have a great rapport with. So let's take a look. The Indiana Fever posted, we have added Rob Dozer to our staff as a player development coach. Rob will work alongside fellow player development coach Keith Porter. And you see here, welcome Rob Dozer. Now, who is Rob Dozer? What has he done? Why is he qualified enough to be working with Caitlin Clark? Let's take a look here. Now, this is a big job because at the end of the day, it's clear Caitlin Clark is going to be training in Indiana. So this is someone who she's definitely going to be.
The true intent behind.
Now, the real reason behind Dozer coming in, it quickly became clear. They think Caitlin's game needs some serious additions. Analysts are out there, straight up saying she needs more isolation moves, more tricks in her bag. Basically, a huge jump to a whole new level next season. This isn't just some gentle nudge. It's a blunt statement that her current skills need a big upgrade. For a player like Clark, that's basically saying she has a critical flaw. And honestly, when you have public criticisms like that, followed by a coach being forced on you, that could totally feel like a massive insult. And yeah, that's exactly what's fueling this whole Fury theory.
Like that's the type of injury where I'm not joking. It is the worst thing that ever happened to me. It is literally the worst thing that ever happened to me. So, yeah, I do feel like the old Achilles injuries are pretty grim. Are pretty grim, not gonna lie. Like it is, as someone that snapped my MCL twice, or not snapped my MCL, who has had three grade 2 tears of an MCL, not a full grade 3 tear. I would rather have two.
And get this, adding even more to the drama, there's already a huge lack of trust when it comes to the Indiana Fever's management. Critics are out there flat out saying, I just don't trust them. So this skepticism, It just casts a shadow of doubt over every single decision the team makes, including bringing in such a high-profile coach. If Caitlin Clark feels even a little bit of that same distrust, then Dozer's hire isn't just about a new coach. It's another questionable call from a front office that's already under a ton of scrutiny. This whole shaky situation really makes a perfect breeding ground for resentment. And honestly, it makes her alleged fury totally understandable.
You better bring your A game because I need CC on a whole nother level next season. I need her on another level next season, and we need her healthy. Let's get more info on Rob Dozer. Here it says Rob Dozer joined the Mad Ants for the 2023-2024 season. Prior, Dozer spent 2 seasons in Washington Wizards organization, last serving as a player development manager for the Wizards. In 2021-22, Dozer was a player development coach associated with the Capital City Go-Go NBA G League affiliate of the Wizards. So he has.
Now, here's another layer to this. The immediate reason Dozer was brought in, which seems innocent enough on the surface, actually makes the whole story even more complicated. See, the Fever's current player development coach, Keith Porter, is out indefinitely. He tore his Achilles, and it's so bad he can't do any on-court work. So, yeah, that obviously creates a need for help. But it also really highlights how vulnerable the Fever are and how they're just reacting to things when it comes to player development. This isn't some well-thought-out, long-term strategic plan. It's an emergency move, bringing someone in quickly under pressure, and that could totally make this fix feel even more random or pointless to Caitlin.
An MCL, not a full grade 3 tear. I would rather have grade 2 tears in both my MCLs and be confined to a wheelchair than have to deal with an Achilles tear again. But at least they brought in another coach. They have a guy in by the name of Rob Dozier. Rob Dozier, I don't know. But he's in, I guess. And he's going to be, this is who we are trusting to work with Caitlin Clark in the offseason. This is who they are trusting to work with Caitlin Clark. So, obviously, look, the Indiana.
Okay, so Dozer's resume, it's seriously impressive, no doubt about it. He's had stints with NBA G League teams, the Pacers, and even the Washington Wizards. He's even worked with some massive names in basketball, like Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Tyrese Maxey, all through elite trainer Drew Hanlen's camps. But here's the thing, this impressive background actually cuts both ways. Does his NBA focus really fit with what the WNBA needs? Or are the Fever basically trying to force a square peg into a round hole? Are they pushing some kind of big man development style onto their superstar guard? This potential mismatch could totally become a huge point of conflict.
Drew Hanlen, Tyrese Maxey. Drew Hanlen is one of the best trainers in the game. He's right there. Him and Chris Brickley are right up there as two of the elites working with some of the top stars. Here it says where he met Coach Drew Hanlen and future NBA superstar Jason Tatum. Many years later, with the help of that camp, Dozier spent 2 summers working alongside Hanlen and Tatum, as well as Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Bradley Beal, and many more. So, you know, it's clear he's worked with some of the elites. He's worked with some of the best of the.
His extensive G League and his G League background, while solid, really shows a specific way of developing players. That's often really different from how you nurture someone who's already a generational talent at the top of their game. I mean, working with up-and-coming players is one thing, but trying to fix a record-breaking superstar, that's a whole other ballgame. So the real question isn't whether Dozer's qualified, but whether his qualifications actually apply to Caitlin Clark's very unique and nuanced game. This whole thing could easily come across as an aggressive, one-size-fits-all approach that just ignores all her established strengths. And that would definitely feed her frustration with this new order.
Who we are trusting to work with Caitlin Clark in the offseason. This is who they are trusting to work with Caitlin Clark. So, obviously, look, the Indiana Fever, we heard from Chris Brickley basically that, oh, you know, teams sometimes don't let their players leave. And everyone's like, oh, Caitlin can leave if she wants to, but it's like, I mean, if the Fever said, we want you to stay here, and she goes and disobeys the Fever, like, I don't think she's going to. I genuinely don't think she's going to. If the Fever don't want her to go somewhere, she's not going to say, fuck you. Like, I probably would rather if she did, to be honest. Like, if the Fever told her, you're now, you're coming off the bench.
Listen, experts aren't holding anything back here. They're directly questioning how Caitlyn's been training. The general agreement is a pretty sharp critique. Sure, her doing individual drills in an empty gym, that's okay, reps are reps. But what she really needs is to be going up against live bodies in the off-season. This isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a full-on demand for a complete redo of her off-season routine. And when they just dismiss her past training like that, it also, by extension, criticizes her own choices and her judgment. That's definitely creating a perfect setup for resentment, making her feel totally undermined by her own team.
More. So, you know, it's clear he's worked with some of the elites. He's worked with some of the best in the world. So he knows what it takes to get a player to the next level. And I can't wait to see what he's able to add to Caitlin Clark's bag, because we need to add some things. We need to add some ISO game. We just need to add some things to the bag. And I think with this type of training, Caitlin Clark can take her game to the next level, and I think this is going to be awesome.
So they're basically pointing to Kelsey Plum's off-season training as the blueprint for what they want Clark to do. Plum was playing 5-on-5 against guys all summer, right? The implication is clear. Caitlyn's game needs that same aggressive, high-contact, male-focused development to really hit its stride. Now, obviously, the goal is for her to get better, but this method, being forced on her, means abandoning her own trusted way of doing things for this specific NBA-style development. That could easily feel like an ultimatum, totally taking away her control over her own growth. And yeah, that would definitely add to her simmering fury.
Okay, so it looks like he was a graduate assistant at a college. Okay. And he played for a D2 school. Cool. What were his stats? So he, in his senior year, averaged like 2 points a game. His junior year averaged like 3.7 points per game. So he was nice. He was nice. And everyone's being like, oh, yeah.
What's crazy is, maybe the most shocking thing here is how little autonomy Caitlin Clark reportedly has over her own off-season training. People are whispering that, yes, she could theoretically just leave the Fever's orbit and train on her own, but if the Fever tells her, hey, we want you to stay here, she's probably not going to go against them. This really implies that her choices are totally dictated by the organization, not by what she prefers to do. Being forced into a specific training environment, especially one that's designed to fix you, that would absolutely spark resentment in any elite athlete, no question.
And I think with this type of training, Caitlin Clark can take her game to the next level, and I think this is going to be awesome. I am worried about. I just don't trust the Indiana Fever, though. That's the thing. I just don't trust Kelly Crosskopf. I don't trust Stephanie White. I just don't trust them. You know, I truly don't trust them, and it is what it is. I probably never will, and that's just that. But this is definitely a good addition, bringing on Rob Dozer now, and I think the Indiana Fever.
On top of that, it looks like the Fever are holding a really tight grip on their star player. They're basically taking control over her development path in a way that feels way more like a dictatorship than a team working together. This isn't about everyone agreeing, it's about the organization giving orders. And for a player like Caitlin, who's always done things her own way, setting records and blowing past everyone's expectations, this forced training plan under the Fever's constant watch could honestly feel like a cage. The message is pretty clear: the team owns her development, not just her contract. And that's a super tough thing for any fiercely independent competitor to swallow.
In his senior year, averaged like 2 points a game. His junior year, averaged like 3.7 points per game. So he was nice. He was nice. And everyone's being like, oh, he averaged 1 point whatever at D2 school. If you guys don't think a player like that is nice, then you never play ball. Or you're way too... There's only two extremes. You're either unbelievably good or you never play ball. If you guys think that a guy who could be in a rotation at D2 school is not good. But it seems like he has been like a G League coach. It says here he was a video coordinator.
Seriously, imagine what it's like for a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber to be told directly or indirectly by management that your game needs fixing. And then, on top of that, to be denied any freedom in how that fix even happens. This whole situation where they acknowledge she's elite, but then question her entire approach, that creates a huge psychological challenge for anyone. So this alleged fury isn't just about a new coach. It's about feeling like your professional identity is being undermined, your trusted methods are being dismissed, and your basic right to make your own decisions is being taken away. All that just boils into a deep, unspoken anger.
We needed to make this move. We needed to bring on more NBA level training. I don't think the training that the WNBA had suffice enough for the level that Caitlin Clark is at or the level she's going to. So, I mean, that's just what it is. They need to level up with Caitlin Clark and get better training. And I think that Caitlin Clark is gonna absolutely light it up this season. And hopefully, I'm hoping that this trainer is smart enough to realize, we got to get Caitlin Clark in some off-season 5.
Plus, making this whole situation even more volatile is the really unsettling truth about the Fever's apparent injury epidemic. Coaches and players, they've just been dropping like dominoes. People have even openly said it's almost like you're not truly a part of the Indiana Fever until you actually get hurt. This dark cloud of constant injuries hanging over the team just adds a terrifying new layer of risk to Dozer's arrival. Putting a new development coach who's supposed to push players to the next level into such a physically dangerous environment, that feels incredibly reckless. And honestly, Caitlin's concern for her own safety in all this could easily turn into full-blown fury.
I don't think that he's I'm not gonna say like there's absolutely no way he's underqualified. I don't think there's no way he's underqualified. Let's just take a listen. So he has a private Instagram account, smart move going private before this. Look, I don't know much about the guy, and I'm not going to claim to know much about the guy. He was a coaching associate for the Wizards G League team. Like, he's my age, so it's not like he's old. He seems to have done a lot and been around the game a lot for a young player. And
listen to this chilling warning given directly to Dozer himself. It really sums up the team's dangerous reality. Someone said, "You're liable to break a bone as soon as you walk into the Indiana Fever facility because things have been crazy over there." That's not just exaggerating, by the way. It's a blunt look at a truly messed up environment. So bringing in a coach to fix a player's game when the actual facility seems cursed with injuries, that just adds an unbearable amount of tension. Caitlin isn't just mad about her game being questioned. She's probably absolutely furious about being forced to develop in what looks like a physically risky and poorly run organization.
Basketball, man, Caitlin Clark is going to walk into the season and destroy these ladies. I mean, absolutely destroy them. So I'm super excited. Rob Dozer, you better bring your best, but you better be careful, bro. I don't know if you're paying attention. Everybody has gotten hurt, and it's almost like you're not really a part of the Indiana Fever until you get hurt. That's really what it seems like, to be honest. Like, literally everybody has gotten injured being involved with this team. It's crazy. So that's what it is. Rob Dozer.
So the really big question still hangs out there. Can Rob Dozer, even with his super impressive background, actually tackle all these complicated issues around Caitlin Clark's development, especially when he's doing it in such a chaotic environment? I mean, his expertise with NBA stars is clear, but taking that and applying it to a WNBA superstar, all while dealing with management distrust and tons of injuries, that's a completely different ballgame. Honestly, this fix they're putting in place feels pretty surface level compared to the really deep-rooted problems. That leaves Dozer in a tough spot, and Clark, she could be exposed to a solution that's totally unproven and maybe even a bad idea.
Yeah, I would, I'm not upset by this. I'm really not upset. Like, it's an off season. He could bring big value. He's a power forward. Someone needs to work with guards as well. He's a player development coach. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can work with, it's not rocket science to work with a guard. Like, I'm sorry. It's not rocket science. Shoot going right. Like, it's not hard to work with a Caitlin. It's not the, like we're seeing guards work with bigs all the time. KK getting a jump shot in year 2. I wonder when KK will be back, because she...
And adding another layer of uncertainty to all this, there's talk going around that Dozer's time with the Fever might just be a stepping stone. People are whispering that he could be here for just a year, and then the plan is to move him up to the Pacers or another NBA role. If that's true, it basically turns Caitlin Clark's development into a temporary project, a way for a coach to climb the career ladder. That kind of short-term setup would totally strip her of any stability or long-term commitment. And yeah, it would absolutely justify any frustration she feels about being a pawn in some organizational game. All of this is really setting the stage for an explosive offseason showdown. Her autonomy seems cut short, her game is under a microscope, and she's got this new, forced coaching plan. Caitlin Clark is walking into a super critical period where how well this fix works is going to decide her immediate future. Will she just go with this new direction, or will this underlying tension explode into a full-on fight against what the organization wants? The pressure is massive. It's not just on Dozer to deliver, but on Caitlin to accept a path that someone else chose for her. That decision could literally make or break her entire professional career. The stakes truly couldn't be higher. This whole move by the Indiana Fever to hire Rob Dozer to fix Caitlin Clark's game, it's way more than just a coaching change. It's a direct challenge to who she is, her ability to make her own decisions, and the successful path she's already built for herself. The question isn't just if Dozer can make her play better, but if he can do it without alienating the very player he's supposed to be helping. As everyone in the league watches, the real consequences of this controversial move and Caitlin's unspoken reaction are still totally unknown. It promises a really tumultuous season ahead, where all this fury and frustration could easily overshadow any wins on the court.